Hi, my name is Abo and today we are going to take a look at a new plugin of mine, Cramit Platinum Edition. The Platinum Edition is based on the free version of Cramit, which, if you are not aware of, is a free multiband OTT style compressor. The Platinum Edition adds new features like linear phase filters, making the plugin much more capable. So let's jump straight into Ableton Live and I'll show you what it's all about. Alright, here we are then. Before we get started though, I want to say that I've also updated the free version of Cramit. The UI is a little bit cleaner, and as you can maybe see from the small texts down here, you can now control the two thresholds of the individual bands together by holding down Control on Windows and then Command on Mac. I've also moved the band gains into these sliders, so they are now integrated in, so they are not visible all the time, which makes also the UI a little bit cleaner. So holding down Shift, you can control the band gains. A couple more new things are also double clicking the thresholds will reset them. This wasn't the case before, and then I think that's pretty much all for the new features in the free version. I also moved the compression and expansion toggle up here with the solo and bypass buttons. But okay, let's talk about the Platinum Edition, which is here. The obvious thing is that the colors are a little bit different, but there are some new features as well, so it's not just aesthetics. As you can maybe see, there are some new sliders like the noise, and then also these things here, and the in, out and mix sliders are a little bit different looking to save space in the interface. So first you can toggle between 12 decibels per octave and 24 decibels per octave slope for the multiband filters. 24 decibels per octave is the default one, and then by just clicking you can toggle between these two. Next up is the big one, linear phase filters. This has been requested by many of you, and now it's finally here in the Cramit as well. So this is really useful if you want to use Cramit for other stuff than just sound design, for example, where you actually care about phase shift and whether or not you are losing any transients or keeping the waveform in correlation. Also with the linear phase, you can do parallel processing, which wasn't really possible with the free version because you will get these awful phase shifts by the multiband filters. But now it's possible with the Platinum Edition. Next up, you have these three buttons down here labeled 1, 2, and 3, and these are simply the amount of bands you want to use from the multiband. So with 1 selected, you will not do any multiband split or band splitting at all. You will only just have the one band, and this low band here will control the full signal. And then obviously 2 is 2 bands and 3 is all 3 bands, so I think that doesn't require any more explanation. Then one new thing in the Platinum Edition to also save space is this new control surface here for the distortion. This is from the Flatter Distortion plugin that works really well for dialing in the mix and then the drive at the same time. And you can kind of see in real time both of them changing. So if I go from bottom to up, you can see the linear function changing into the distortion function, and then here you can see that the wave shape kind of loosens up when you decrease the drive. Then lastly, we have a noise generator. This one is inspired from Nace, which is also one of my plugins, and this is actually really cool for filling up the frequency range and making your sounds more full. This is mostly, I've used this for drums, where you have like hard transients and a lot of high end. You can kind of fill up the drums using this, and I will show you how this works in just a minute when I show you the plugin in action. And those are pretty much the new features in the Platinum Edition. All the other stuff from the free version is of course carried out into this one. But now let's see the plugin in action, and I will show you some of the tracks that I used in this project I have here. So let's start maybe from this bass right here. I have chosen the sub control preset and then tweaked it a little bit to fit this sound. So let's hear the sound first without Cramit, and then I'll turn Cramit on and you will hear the difference quite easily. So a lot more controlled with the low end, and also some distortion to get some harmonics, and that's pretty much it. Fits really well in the mix. If you want to hear it in context, I can also play to you with the other stuff on the track. First without Cramit, and you will hear that it sits a lot better in the mix with Cramit. So this is first without. And then let's hear it with Cramit. Next up, let's jump into this tops group I have here, and here I also have Cramit Platinum Edition with the Bright Tops preset. And this one adds a little bit of noise, actually quite a lot, and this is good for snares and hi-hats and stuff like this. So let's hear the hi-hats or the tops group without Cramit first. And then with Cramit. So there, as I turned the noise slider, you can hear how the noise kind of comes in, carried out with the sound. So how the noise slider works, it follows the audio's volume and then adds the noise based on that, and that results in this really natural sounding noise. So it's not just kind of adding a constant whoosh sound in the background. Next up, let's jump into this distorted plug I have here. So this one is in the second part of the drop. So I'll maybe first play it to you as it is, so with Cramit, and then we'll dial into the individual sound and see how it sounds with Cramit toggled on and off. So it's this one right here. So what Cramit is doing, it's adding quite a lot of distortion, but also a lot of OTT compression. As you can see, the depth is at 70% and also the speed is pretty high. I'm also using all 3 bands. So let's hear the sound without Cramit. And then with Cramit. Sounds really dull if you leave Cramit out, as you can hear if I play it to you without Cramit with other instruments as well. So it also adds this kind of brassy sound, like some horn or something. I'm not sure how to describe it, but pretty cool. Apparently, I'm just scanning through the project, and of course I made the project for this overview, but also I noticed that I'm using Cramit in almost every track. So there you can see, especially with the new linear phase option, you can use this plugin for pretty much anything in your project. So a really versatile plugin. So this one is now with these offbeat basses here, or however you want to call them. And now turning Cramit off. It's kind of boxy and not really controlled, but with Cramit it squishes the whole sound into this small space and it sounds really good with other stuff. A few more things. I have also Cramit in this plug here, which is on the first and then the second break. without Cramit. Of course, there's a lot more volume, but also it's more aggressive and in-your-face type of sound. And then the last thing I want to show you is now with the new linear phase, I'm kind of a broken record by now because I'm just talking about the linear phase, but it's really useful. So, I can kind of type. With the new linear phase filters, you can also use OTT compression for mastering, believe it or not. So I've actually included a master preset here with the Platinum presets. And this is just really subtle OTT with the linear phase turned on, and it doesn't mess up your transient, no uncorrelation or anything like that. First, let's hear without Cramit, and then I'll turn it on and let's see if it works on the master channel. And then let's turn Cramit on. I'll actually turn down the output volume quite a bit because it's also adding some volume. We have some saturation here, and also the OTT is adding some volume. So let's turn it down, maybe 6 decibels or something. Makes it a little bit more bright and also brings up some finer details, especially on the high end. If you are not really liking the kind of hiss sound you sometimes get with these OTT type effects, you can turn down the lower threshold from the high band, which doesn't push up the high frequencies when they are below the threshold, and this kind of eliminates sometimes this unnatural sounding hiss with the OTT. And that pretty much wraps today's video. As always, I've left the link to the plugin in the description below. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.